Hello, fellow human, and do you want to do things like this?
Why am I on him?
Oh my god. Oh no. I want to get
You're at the right video because today I want to talk about the gravity tutorial, how to play the mode, and ideally, more importantly, what tanks you need to play the mode best. And now because Wargaming's production budget is a bit higher than mine, here's a very brief overview.
Looking to get away? Gravity Force mode in World of Tanks Blitz takes you and your tanks into space. Shoot on the fly. Use your gun to go even faster. Launch yourself from craters. Drift around enemies. And repel an alien invasion. So, go forth and explore the new mode. And may the Gravity Force be with you. Play now.
Now, as we see, there are a lot of special features that you can experience, even special maps for the mode itself. Now, what tanks do you want to play in gravity mode? One of the options could be the mouse. Want to know why? Now, the first thing you have to choose is your tank, and there is a special distinction to be made here because gravity mode does have one special ability, and that is the thruster. However, that thruster is not available to heavy tanks, because before that thruster is available, you see how that ends. The mouse, and especially also the VK-168, were extremely powerful, and you can ram whatever you wanted absolutely to death. Now, you can't really do that anymore. You need a lot more skill now to pull that off. Now, one of those picks can be the Jagdpanzer E100 because it does have the thruster available, given it's not a heavy tank. However, it weighs 130 tons, which means if you want to crush Sheridans midair, this is a very, very good option right here. Speaking of Sheridan, there are two versions of this vehicle available. The normal, regular one, and then the Sheridan missile, which, well, used to be the normal one, but luckily, Wargaming has decided that missiles in regular battles was an absolutely horrible idea, and they have decided to make it a separate vehicle that is only able to be played in special modes. Now, why that is, you can see that right here. This is a horrible idea. It basically is artillery. Now, the upside of this vehicle, that it can be an absolute terror to anyone that you encounter, especially in gravity mode. The downside is, if you ever happen to engage with this vehicle and play it, I will steal your fridge. Now, furthermore, light tanks such as the RU-2F1 or the M4190 or, well, any form of light tank can be really fun in this mode because they fly a lot faster, because the less a vehicle weighs, obviously the less gravity it has acting upon it, therefore the further it can fly. And because these vehicles do have the thrusters available, you can fly very far. I remember the clip from earlier on the mouse on this exact map, right? Well, with the mouse, you can be in the middle in about 10 seconds in gravity mode. In regular mode, it takes you about 17 hours. That is one of the huge advantages of gravity mode. If you happen to grind a very, very slow vehicle and you're not particularly enjoying it, just grind it in gravity mode. It's going to be a lot more fun. And that's the point of the mode. It's a fun mode. So stats don't get recorded. It's going great overall. Now, how does gravity work? Well, it's the force that is pulling you down. Well, not depression, but the other one, the physical one. Now, if you reduce gravity, what happens is that things essentially weigh less, which means they can go faster. However, because things go faster and tanks drive faster, you have to be faster as well. If you're not that good at aiming, then gravity mode can be a real challenge for you, because the faster tank drives, the harder it becomes to hit the vehicle. And therefore, you have to be really careful, really precise with your shots and where they're going. So ideally, you want to train your aim if you want to be good at gravity mode, because with a vehicle like this right now, I don't really have to do much because it's extremely slow. I can take my time, it'll work out just fine. However, if we accelerate this thing to about double its speed, then it also becomes twice as hard to hit it, because you have to track it properly, which means that aiming in gravity mode is extremely important. So is your driving skills, because if you can't maneuver and traverse quickly, you're most likely to crash into a tree somewhere, or a house. Sometimes also inside the house.
Ow! I'm in the house! I'm inside the house!
Now, gravity is not only the force that pulls you down and makes you wrinkly if you're older, it also doesn't record your stats, which means that whatever you do, you can do as much of it as you want. If you want to jump to the enemy spawn in an RU-251 at 2 minutes, you do that. Because it's fun. Now, at this point, let's see what we can achieve in this regular, boring, vanilla game. And vanilla all the time is pretty boring, right? Because if you always do the same thing, it eventually starts to be a bit boring. So if you mix it up with a bit more action, you can make it a lot more interesting. So you want to play gravity mode, because it's cool. Now, we talked about the good sides. Now here's a bit of a thing that you might want to be considering. The thrusters in their current form are pretty OP. I personally think they should be adjusted a bit to either lengthen the cooldown or decrease the intensity of which they're jumping, because right now tanks like the mouse are still fun, they're still great, they still work pretty damn well. However, if you look at the past, it was a lot more fun. Now, once gravity is available, play it, it's fun. You gotta know how to aim, you gotta know how to drive. If you're slow, you're gonna lose, but if you know what you're doing, it's gonna be a hella good time.